All right? But other eggs remain intact, I think. And there's science to everything. And as human beings, when we do not have a science to everything, to the way we vote, most of the time when the people refuse to listen to a leader, right? The leader starts listening to them. You know, we make so much noise. Like June 2024 was a time that actually the president was sitting at State House and actually realized that it's gone south.
Now wanasema ni mbaya.
Yeah.
Ni mbaya.
Yes. In 2002, Moi saw the pandemonium. And even if he had thought about stealing that election in 2002, he could not bring himself to handing over that power to Uhuru Kenyatta in 2002. So many of those things have happened. And I think the first thing that we have to do is to tell people that, okay, you are not going to tell me about 2-term. You're not going to tell me about 1-term. Why are you telling me about those things?
What next?
What next after that? Like, people are asking, okay, who are you going to vote for governor? So who is it? The MP, who is it? Trevor Mbija wants to be an MP in the village, but he lives here in Nairobi.
What does he know about the village? He has grown up there.
Yeah.
So does he know the current challenges?
Yeah. Do I know about my Nyakach constituency that much? And have you realized something, that all these people that want to be MPs in their villages do not live there? Every time they want to go there, they hire big cars because there are no roads. You know? And they take anti-malaria if they have to go down to Nyanza.
Yes. Oh, yes, they do.
Because they are afraid of malaria. But I was there home. The other day, there was so much mosquitoes and it was raining. And people are living there.
You know, when you go to the village and you really think about it, it saddens a person who's from the city.
It's dark.
Especially if you've been watching politics, especially if you know how much MPs are allocated, MCAs are allocated. You know, even now, governors are just giving MCAs money, ward development fund, just to ensure that they remain in power. And you go to the village and you realize that there's someone who hasn't seen 1,000 shilling note in 3-6 months.
Yeah.
And you see how grateful they are when you give them that. And these guys are coming from Nairobi and they're going to give them that 1,000 shilling note. And they're not going to give them anything from 2027 August all the way to 2031. It is such saddening, and I would like us to reflect a little bit about how much the country has rotten and how much people are unforgiving, uncaring, selfish, greedy, and how much we need to think more about, you know, are we going to spread this message beyond this channel? And maybe this, I know we're about to wind up because you're looking at that camera, but I'm saying, you know, I just want anybody that is listening to us today to try to spread this message that you don't have to vote for someone because they're popular.
Yeah.
You don't have to vote for someone because they carry notes. You don't have to vote for someone because you like them. You know, politicians are likable. You know, they give jokes in funerals and everyone is laughing and they're like, oh, did Ruto really say that?
Yeah.
But we have to vote because we care about ourselves more. We care about free education. We care about free transportation. We care about free healthcare. And I hope people can help us in spreading this message, Agero.
Yeah. For me, I think what I want to say is that even before we start voting, there is a time I talked with my brother, who is now passed on. His name is Ulo, and he told me that this MCA has not done anything, and therefore we cannot vote him back. And I said to my brother, fair enough, but what did you ask of him? Because he can ask you that question and you'll not be able to answer. And I think right now what we need to do as Kenyans is to ask, what do you want to do? For us, we have a few things that we need taken care of. Look, we don't have a dispensary around here. We don't have an ECD school around here. this bridge has been disturbing us for a long time. Kids cannot be able to go to school when it rains cats and dogs. These are the things that we want. Our primary school has the roof just caved in, and we need somewhere that is not going to be killing our children. These are our bare minimums. And the person that agrees that is going to make these things, this is the person that we are going to vote in. Okay? And then we have a pact that you say you're going to go do these things, fine. So then we are going to give you our votes. And we are hoping that you're going to look at the MOU every day and remember every morning that this is the MOU that we have. And then at the end of those 5 terms, of those 5 years, we are going to come back to the table and talk about the MOU. But sometimes people like Ruto also, decided to say before the people talked that these are the things I'm going to do. And then that is why Matthew stands up in a funeral and asks him, bro, I was with you when you said you're going to make this road and you haven't made it. I was with you when you said you're going to do this. I mean, it is an MOU. You said, and we had a pact around it, that you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And so I'm asking you, have you done that? So I think that as people of Kenya, we need to be telling the politicians the thing that we want done.
Yeah.
We have a pact around those things. And then we say, okay, you did this, but the problem that we are having right now is that these politicians comes and volunteer the things they want to do. No. You don't come and tell us that you're going to do this. You're going to sink 100 boreholes. We don't want 100. We just want 4.
We just want water.
Yay! All right. Yeah, that's a good thing.
We just want water.
Yeah.
Not 100.
Don't tell us 100 boreholes.
Yes.
Yeah. Are we going to read comments today?
That's what we started by saying you're going to read comments.
You can read a few.
Let me read a few. I've been told one, Itumia Kili Trevor did not live in Nyakat, so he can vie there. But what I'm just saying, I didn't say he didn't grow up there. I basically said if you've lived in Nairobi for 20 years, you probably go back in the village. But what I'm just saying is, what is that pressure to going back where you haven't lived for more than 25 years? It's not anything to do with Trevor. It's about, why don't you let the people who...
And I also talked about myself. What do I know about Nyakach?
Yeah,
it's just an example.
Yeah.
And Trevor is an acquaintance, and he wants to be the Nyakach MP. I don't understand. One of these days I will ask him to come to this show and tell me exactly what he wants to do in Nyakach. Because I lived there. And I go there every month. I go to Nyakach every month. I am in my constituency. Not to campaign because...
Oh, you are from the same place where he wants to buy.
Yes, with Trevor, yes. I am from the same place, and I was in his home area. In the last 2 weeks, I was there. I took a picture and joked with him and told him, "Wapi kura hapa bwana."
Niko ndani. This is Odis. Ako wapi jamani Odis.
Hey.
This is Ivan Ouma. He's asking where Odhiambo is. Hello to Kondani. This is Waziri. Waziri is also saying Ruto is excellent when it comes to politics, but very poor in governance. ODM needs to be careful. Today I'm helping you with reading comments. Kevin is saying, hello people of the internet watching from Doha, Qatar. My salams to Ward County, Jagero and JK. That is Jadil Kabir. Thank you so much for tuning into our conversation. I hope I'll be having these conversations more often. Annie is saying, Kufika, this is when we're starting the conversation. Is media bought? This is Annie. She's asking, is mainstream media bought? Of course, whoever pays whatever calls the whatever, this media are getting a lot of adverts from government and other, organizations.
Do you think that's the reason why when you go to this, a lot of people are complaining to me, by the way.
About media?
Yeah, that when they go there, they have to be taken into a room and given tea and told that, look, these are our, you cannot.
Do you remember that Miguna interview? I think on KTN with my friend, this journalist who left KTN.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but he was telling me, I know they're telling you things in your earpiece, not to ask me. Miguna was so, it was like, no, we agreed we're going to talk about this, Ken Mijungu. That was his interview with Miguna. And Ken was like, it's media, so what can I say? But people have always had a problem with Miguna because Miguna doesn't care. Good evening, people of the internet. Kadosh is saying that I really admire Jagera for his authentic opinion, but he should come clean on his stand personally. Jenga Jogu is asking you that.
I've said before that, I sympathize with Ruto as a fellow Nilot. sometimes I look at the guy and say that, bro, Gachagua is pushing you really proper.
Ruto should think about his legacy. I think this is what he should think about.
Yeah.
His legacy. What he wants, what does he want to be remembered for?
But sometimes I feel like we are not being fair to some people because they don't have a legacy. They've never had one. And the reason why they are in politics is completely different from what you think they are doing there.
Oh, so we expect so much from people who have their own understanding about what they're doing.
When you're talking to somebody who has never been to a petrol station for 30 years, when you're talking to somebody who has never been to a supermarket for 30 years, when you're talking to somebody who has never paid for anything for 30 years, you have to be careful how to handle that person. That person is not living in your world. When you're talking about Wetangula, for example, and you're talking about Mudavadi, for example, and you're talking about all these people, okay, look at all of them, and you are bringing them down to your world. They are very far away from your world. And so sometimes they don't understand. The other day I was talking to a gentleman that was telling me that there is a politician who will go to a restaurant and will be having his phone the whole time. But when he stands up to go to his car, he leaves the phone on the table. And his aides will have to scramble and get the phone. And then he goes and sits down and they will hand him over the phone when he's on his seat.
So he can sit in the car and just like...
Yes.
He hasn't carried it.
Yes.
For a long time.
Yeah.
For sure. That is Obama's... there was an interview after Obama had left...
State House.
The White House.
The White House.
And so Obama is like, what surprised you after you left office?
Okay.
No, he was asked. And Obama's like, oh, I had forgotten this traffic. For 8 years, he didn't know a car can stop in the middle of a road. Why is it stopping? So this person, for just 8 years, his car has never been stopped. There's traffic. He's asking, what's happening? There's traffic on the road. Can you imagine? Now that's the people we are dealing with, who has never baked bread, who has never gone to the kitchen.
And don't you think that Ruto might be out of traffic for the next 20 years? He might be out of traffic for the next 20 years. It's a possibility.
Everything is possible, but
so those are the kind of people sometimes that we are talking with. Somebody that does not understand money if it is not in billions.
Because now it's going to 14 years without traffic for Ruto.
Yeah, 14 years without traffic for Ruto. And a lot of years without anything for him.
And those are the people we are expecting to come to the ground and understand that 193 shillings or 197 shillings for fuel is a lot.
We have to speak a little louder. Today we have been seriously political.
No, today it's been Jagero's rant because I think someone has said today at least you've spoken well about Raila Odinga. Someone saying Ruto has been at Eldoret North, saying Jagero, if we stop being tribal and only then can we grow as a nation. Peter Mai, Jagero, who is this? Jagero, is there any MP who have ever built stadium anywhere in this country unless we forgot the role of an MP? I think by judging him, we should look at what bills did he take in Parliament. He's talking about William Samoei Ruto.
Yeah.
What we're lacking in Kenya is the quality of citizens. John is telling us that. I see a lot of comments here. And so many people are talking about, Jagero, where is your tie? Ile ya yellow.
I was going to wear a tie, except that you said that today is a weekend.
Today is a weekend.
So I came out without a tie, but I've always ile tie ya Ruto.
Ile ya Ruto ndio
ile toka straight
out. Ile ya I suppose you mean amweba, not bacteria. This is what I was saying, that Ruto is a consumer of political parties.
Yes.
Wants us to go back to the KANU era. And someone says, Jadel, don't forget how he poached UDM, that party from Northern, from Azimio to get majority. Njega has been here. Hapo umegongwa ndipo Jagera. I don't know wapi nilikugonga. When I hear the name Gladys Wanga, this one is vomiting. Good dear. He's sending some, someone vomiting. This is the narrative about Luo Nyanza, turns out is a fallacy. It was the second highest after Rift at 72%. Some of the people who say Luos don't vote had a tumor of 98 to 60%. I'm seeing a lot of comments. Mudavadi is a prodigal son. This is Eric Buana. So grateful that you're tuning into this conversation. And of course, as I said earlier, we hope you can share these conversations because, most of the time we talk about politics and we forget that we need to share what we have understood because as I'm saying from these conversations, so many people are getting what we are saying. So many people are like, even when you talk to Maraga or you talk to Jimmy Wanjigi or you talk to Omtata, everyone is always saying, I hope this message can reach a lot of people. Do you always feel that when you're having these conversations and then you feel like, people are ready to vote based on issue-based politics rather than legacy politics. And sometimes it surprises me that we go back to our tribal cocoons, whether you're a professor, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a teacher. And it's my hope that we can get to a place where we can just go on the ballot and not say...
And you know what? Sometimes I also believe that even once we have voted, we can still speak authoritatively and courageously about the people that we have put. And one of the things I'm very happy about was the latest press conference that His Excellency, the former Deputy President, unleashed against Ruto. That was bold. That was what you tell the president, that these are our bare minimums, these are the things that you want to do. And for the first time, I thought that Gachagua was thinking about Kenyans. He's telling the president that, look, what is happening right now, we don't appreciate it, we don't